Hey everybody, Sean and Josh here from Vertica Systems and VerticaCRM. Today we're talking about a really cool tool that is in the VerticaCRM. It is the lead parsing tool. And the lead parsing tool is something that you cannot live without because the way it works is fantastic and amazing and pretty much gets a lot of the stuff done for you, especially, since you guys are all advertising on different listing sites and you get leads and no one likes to do data entry. So with the help of our lead parsing tool, it does it for you. Josh can explain a little bit more in depth about the lead parsing tool, but before he does that, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because it helps us create more content for you that helps us put out more of these tutorial videos and all sorts of other things. So go ahead, smash that button, and Josh, let's get going, buddy.
Thank you very much, Sean. So let's talk about lead parsing, but more importantly, let's talk about saving time. Um, our system as a whole is unique. It's built from the ground up by business brokers for business brokers, but we take it a level further than that. We own the code of the system. We don't take a third party widget or plugin and connect it to our system. We build all of the tools from scratch. And by doing so, it enables us to enable you to have a lot more control and a lot more power over the things that you do. So, for example, the standard lead parsing tools that exist out there in the market today, they're done. Very simply, they will take an email and they'll read it and they'll copy and paste that information into the CRM for you. But it's a third-party tool. Our system, however, was built and integrated directly into the code of the CRM. So how is that helpful? Well, it's very simple. You have leads that come in from multiple different sites. You have BizBuySell, you have businessesforsale.com, BizBen, and about 20 others that we work with. And when you get the email, our system not only takes the information and adds it into the CRM, but it also is intelligent in the sense that it knows what is coming from the buyer, how many times has this buyer inquired on a listing? Is this buyer registered? Is this buyer unregistered? Is this an unregistered buyer who has inquired on many listings? Is this buyer who has a time waster? What's going on with the information that you receive as a whole from the multiple different sources? So what's going to happen is if you happen to have a buyer that inquires on three, four, five listings and is as of yet unregistered, the system is going to understand that this is a buyer that is repetitive unregistered buyer. And so we're going to have a special tract of emails that go out to this buyer to cajole the buyer to click on this button and sign the NDA. Click on this button to go to the registration page. Or if the buyer is already registered and they're coming from BizBuySell or any of the other sites, we don't need to cajole them to sign the NDA because they already are. Instead, we're going to send them their username and password, their credentials, to log in directly to their data room where they can access the information from business that has automatically been added to their into their data room. One other important point is by virtue of the fact that we are able to process this information automatically when the buyer is on BizBuySell's website and they fill out that form on BizBuySell by your listing, the system will pick up the lead email. And while they're still on BizBuySell's website, they're going to get an email from you personally saying, "Hey, John Smith, hey, Mr. Buyer, I see that you're looking at my great profitable pizzeria on BizBuySell as we speak right now. I'd love to provide you with the confidential information about this opportunity. Click here to sign our NDA." The buyer will then go ahead, click on that button, and they will be redirected to a registration web form on your website, pre-populated with all the information that they just provided to you from BizBuySell. And when they get that information, they click on next, they sign the NDA, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, everything interacts. You have the relationship tool, which takes that PDF document that the buyer just saved that just completed and signed on your website and associates it with the contact record. So I've been speaking a lot in theory. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the lead parsing technology works. So this is a lead parser from BizBuySell that we have set up with in this particular CRM. I can create unlimited amounts of lead parsing for unlimited amounts of scenarios for multiple different sites. As a matter of fact, one of the things that the CRM excels in is expecting different changes. So just yesterday, for example, I had a customer that complained, well, my lead parser stopped working. Well, we took a look at it and we saw that BizBuySell, as they tend to do, they changed the subject of the email that they received. And so the system looks at various different scenarios, like, for example, what is the email address that we're receiving and what is the subject, the repetitive subject of the email that we get. So if they change a word in the subject, that will change things. So we can go in here and make an adapt the lead parser directly to the new scenario of leads that come in from BizBuySell or, like I said, any other site. So let's take a look. Let's click on the edit button and see how this is going to work. So we have the various different information. We have an email that is receiving the information from BizBuySell. We have the sender email, the email that is the email we expect the email to be coming from, and the expected subject of that email. We have multiple different types. We can create custom templates, but BizBuySell is the 800-pound gorilla, so we already have that by default. We can decide whether we want these leads to go into the lead module or the contact module, again, to adapt to each individual customer's, each individual business brokerage unique methodology. We have a delimiter, which is the line that ends usually from the lead emails end with a colon. So we tell the CRM to expect the data that we want to parse to be after that colon. And basically what happens is we look at the email and we see we have a field name that comes from the email. So in the BizBuySell email, you have contact name, contact phone, contact zip, and all these various different pieces of data that you may already be familiar with. And all we do is map that field to the field of data that exists in the CRM. So you have all the power to change things around, but it takes things a little bit further because I can then go ahead and create an automation within our very powerful workflow platform that I can create a checkbox saying this lead came from the lead parser, or I can add any specific individual fields to customize the unique response for each individual email. And so I can create by me putting this one right here as the default setting for any time a lead comes from the lead parser, I can then set that as a trigger to send out an email. And now it can get email to a registered buyer, an unregistered buyer, or a buyer that has many different scenarios. When we're finished with setting up the mapping, we just go down here and click on here, and all I need to do is take a look at the trigger logs. And I can notice over here, I click on we set the lead parser to check periodically. It could be once every minute, once every 3 minutes, once every 5 minutes. And every time there's an interval of checking, of polling the email server, we get a log. And it's going to tell us right here, a trigger log that says we've successfully checked the email from BizBuySell. We haven't had any leads, or we have had leads. How many contacts were created, and if it didn't create a contact for whatever reason, perhaps the reason why it failed to create a contact was because there was a duplicate record already in the system. And that leads us to the last point that I want to bring about lead parsing. I mentioned before that our system is intelligent. It knows what to do with multiple different scenarios are presented to it. So what happens if you have a buyer that has already been parsed previously and comes in with a different listing? We're not going to blindly create a new contact record. We're going to add the listing that this buyer is now inquiring on to the existing contact record to that buyer's data room, which then will trigger a whole slew of different workflows according to your methodology, which we'll discuss in the video that discusses data room. Well, that's it for now in terms of lead parsing. There's so many more tools and features and options that you can take advantage of. Go schedule a demo so we can talk about your needs.
Amazing. And we'll drop the link to Josh's calendar in the video notes. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you guys on the next upload.